Thank you for listening to Paper Girl. My name is Melody Coulter. I'm the host, the co-owner of Meadow Market Books in Tulsa. And today I have one of our latest launches. It's going to be Dustbowl Dreams with Tina Wall. Hi, Tina.
Hey, Melody.
I'm super excited. Tell me a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll dive into Dustbowl.
So I use she, her pronouns. I am originally from Sand Springs, just outside of Tulsa. Grew up in the area. When I was 20 or so, I moved away and I lived in Austin for 17 years, and I've been back since Halloween of 22. So been back a few years now, and loving it. It's not the Tulsa I grew up in, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, how's it changed in ways that you like it?
So there is, when I moved away, it was basically so I could explore what it was like to be queer without family around every corner. And it's so much more accepting of, people with, especially like Midtown and North. The farther south you get, the more conservative it gets. But no, it's great. The art scene is a lot more vibrant than I remembered it being. It may have changed there, I'm not sure. There's just so many more places that have such an emphasis on community. And that's a big difference, and I love it.
I love that. And so Dustbowl Dreams is a community zine. So let's walk through like the origins of Dustbowl.
So I have loved zines since I was 11 or 12, and I've never made one before this. This is my first actual zine that I put out. When I was in Austin, I felt like there wasn't much of an audience for it. Like, people will say like Austin's weird, but it's very corporate now, actually. Yeah, I just didn't know how to find my people there. Moved back, found them, and I had been thinking, like, zines just came up in conversation naturally several times in the course of, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. And after the third or fourth time, somebody said, "You should make a zine." I was like, you know what, maybe I will. And I was toying with the idea, and I hadn't really figured out what it was going to look like. Around the same time, this was 2024 is when I started, in the fall, late summer. But around the same time, the Oklahoma Equality Center started looking for, like, opened up signups for their Pride for vendors. And it was, I don't remember the prices, but it was completely unreachable for almost every local queer creator. Like, no one could do that. No one could, it was, I want to say it was like $500 originally. Mm-hmm. And they took our feedback, which was great. They went back, reworked it to where there was a scale where there was, like, corporate sponsorship and, like, local business, and then there was local artists or something like that. But it was still upwards of $100, I think, which is not too bad, but it was still, like, not doable for a lot of people. I think at that point it was maybe $250. And as a counter to their Pride, a bunch of folks from a queer group on Facebook decided to do community Pride. There were a lot of reasons. It was, the pricing was the big, like, instigator of that. But it also, like, the official Pride has cops in the Pride parade, and Pride was a protest against cops. And it's so antithetical to just the spirit of Pride. And so they decided to do their own Pride. And I said, I'm going to make my zine a queer community zine, and I'm going to come out with the first issue at Community Pride, which I ended up being a little late for, but, it was a noble goal. And that's how it started. And I did 4 issues in a year, and I've been taking a break, and I've now had a break. Let's see, the last one came out in July of last year. So I've had a good break, and I've been doing a lot of other stuff, like a lot of art stuff, a lot of collaboration with Jess McCutcheon, a number of just sort of dealing with burnout around creating a zine. And I was getting fewer submissions, and like just a lot of things were slowing down. And so I was like, okay, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna make some adjustments, and then when we come back, it'll be the same but different.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the next iteration of Dustbowl, but first, like the real reason we're all here is that you are hand binding copies of the first year of Dustbowl Dreams.
Yeah, I decided in January of this year, again, very similar to making a zine, people had been talking about binding books around me a whole lot, and I was like, that seems fun. And around the first of the year, I was like, I'm going to learn how to bind books this year. And I had originally been, like, I think ever since issue 3 of the original iteration, I had been thinking about putting out the first year as a collection. And I expected it to be more like a, paperback, just sort of nothing special kind of deal that I could order a ton of and just market. But when I started binding books, I was like, you know what? My zine would be perfect for this. And I bound a couple collections just like as a test. They didn't have great covers or anything like that. I was just like, will this work? What will it look like? And as I was doing that, I was like, you know what? I could make the bound editions of the first year something really special. And so I decided to do that. So
And you landed on, so there's going to be 25 copies available.
25 copies.
And was that, does that feel like it was the attainable goal?
Yes, that was the attainable goal. I was like, I think I can knock 25 out in, a month or so. I was like, I think I can do that. And boy, it's getting close, but I still think I can do 25.
You'll get there. Each one that you've been able to like share has been so beautiful. It's like really, really meaningful. Have you told the contributors to the zines that this is happening?
I have not. I intended to send out an email today. So, yeah. If I haven't emailed you and you hear this, I'm so sorry, but you should get an email before this comes out.
Oh, I love it. And so you pulled together queer creators.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen flyers at places like Must and stuff.
Yeah.
And trying to get like local businesses to carry the zine. Are you changing your approach at all for the next one?
Not, I mean, a little bit, but not in terms of how I'm getting submissions or how I'm promoting it. So it's still going to be the same places. You can get it online, or let's see, Must carries it. You guys carry it. You can also get it at Just Arts or Sky Gallery. I think those are the places you can get it here in Tulsa. And I'm still going to be doing that. The things that are going away is the original 4 issues had themes that I had assigned to them, and I'm not going to do themes anymore. I'm going to just accept open submissions constantly and kind of make themes around what I get.
Yeah.
If things are even themed at all.
Do you feel like that might help reduce the burnout?
I do. And one of the things, when I wasn't getting submissions, I think I put up a thing on Instagram saying, hey, what ideas would be, what would make this more appealing to you? What would make you submit something to it, basically? And a lot of responses I got were, like rolling submissions or open submissions, or, just being really clear that, hey, I'm always accepting submissions. Themes, a lot of people were like, I feel like what I have doesn't really fit the theme. I I'm like, well, a lot of stuff in there doesn't really fit the theme. It's really a loose theme. And one of the other comments I got was it wasn't clear if you had to be local to Tulsa to submit to it, and you absolutely don't. I have in the first 4 I've gotten submissions from here around locally, Minneapolis, Austin from friends there, somewhere else in Texas. I can't remember where it was. But I've gotten some submissions from around, and I've also started publishing submissions from incarcerated queer people. So that was new as of issue 4. So thanks to Wendy at Just Arts for getting me in contact with at least one person.
They've been pulling together. They do the gallery over on Studio Row, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we've got postcards about the different pieces they've been working on artistically. So
they're amazing.
It's really, really cool. I think it's like a wonderful way to connect people. I think people don't think about the humanity of incarcerated individuals and reduce them to things that they may or may not have done. And so
yeah, and that's like, I'm not even looking. I mentioned in the zine, I'm not even like looking up what these people are incarcerated for. It's not on me to, judge people. They're incarcerated, serving their time, whatever. I just think that everyone's art deserves to be seen, heard, whatever. And I don't think that incarceration should limit that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Just Arts is great. They do all that. They have, I think, monthly letter writing nights, and they're starting an abolitionist book club as well.
Ooh.
I know. I can't remember the first book, but they're going to start doing that.
We'll hunt it down. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So you've got this like widespread community and you're pulling together. What was the process like getting the first zine like up and running? Because you said this is your first zine. So like,
it was amazing. I had the idea and I wrote a piece for it, and the biggest thing was I went to a poetry open mic with Jess McCutcheon, and she introduced me to Jinya, and I'm sorry, Jinya, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. But he's amazing. But he was hosting the open mic, and he let me get up in the middle of it and like plug my zine and be like, hey, I'm getting submissions for this. And I got so many submissions. I got stuff from people I didn't know. Quinn Carver Johnson, I don't know if you're familiar. They're amazing, and they sent so many poems and photographs that are in there, and I did not have the heart to turn down anything that I received, and that just getting in the door in there like was amazing. And that's so yeah, I just kind of like, I was like, hey, give me stuff. And yeah, Jess gave me stuff. Samantha Ryan's got stuff in there.
I love it. There we go. Another Sam mention.
Yep. Had to get it in there.
That's the requirement to be on Paper Girl now is
Yep.
you have to know Sam and
She
shout her out.
she essentially wrote fan fiction for her characters in Pride.
Oh.
And it's so cute. It's the cutest little cozy winter story. I love it.
I have yet to see a bad thing from her. And I think she's also probably, like all of us, very careful about like what gets put out. But everything she puts out is like, damn, this is so good. So I want to see what like a bad thing looks like for her. So you're a multi-hyphenate when it comes to the arts.
Yeah, I on my I don't make a business card, I make a business zine. Because of course I do.
You're like, this is gonna take a few minutes to
I was like,
explain.
I need multiple pages. But no, I call myself an art anarchist on that, and I don't really, I mean, it feels right. I don't really know what that means. Like, I mean, I don't subscribe to any singular, like, medium. I don't I don't pay attention to rules about anything. I just kind of do what I want, and that's fine.
I love that because that's been like a recurring topic in my mind is the act of creation and not caring if it's conventionally good, but just taking the time to have something in your brain that you feel like absolutely has to be
hmm
tangible and exist in the world, and just really connecting with the artist. I feel very like woo woo artsy spiritual nonsense lately because I've been doing artist way, and I'm like,
Yeah.
with your artist and let the universe guide you.
I grew up loving art but seeing myself as outside of it. Like I wasn't conventionally good at drawing, and so I was just like, I can't make art. I don't know how it works. It's fine. I don't want to, but I hung out with artists constantly. In high school, I dated a man for 2 years, well, a boy for 2 years. It was totally fine. Who was an artist, and he's still an artist, and he's an amazing artist. And like I was always so inspired to be around artists and to read literary fiction and all this, and I just loved it, but I saw myself as outside that. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I like math. I'm very, I don't know, left-brained or whatever it is. And COVID hit, and a friend of mine, like right when the guidelines started loosening up a little bit, a group of friends of mine decided to do a we were in it. It was essentially a duplex, but we had both sides of it, and it was out in the middle of the woods, and there was like nothing around. And like originally we had great plans to like, oh, let's just be in nature and we'll go fishing and hiking, and we got high and painted all weekend is what happened. But a friend of mine had brought to that, she had brought paint and supplies to do fluid acrylic painting. And I'm not good, I wasn't good at art, but I'm good with colors. And she showed me how to do it, and I just like, it hit, and I was like, this is amazing. Like letting go of preconceived notions of what I can and can't do. And just, and the way fluid art is, it moves around so much that you have some control, but you don't know what it's going to be. So it was also an exercise in giving up control. And that really kicked everything off. I guess before that, I was a bit of a fiber artist. I knit all the time, but I haven't done that in a few years. But yeah, so to being surrounded by art and literature, to knitting, to suddenly now this is what I do.
Something that I love that we carry in store from you. We carry a lot of really, really cool things specifically from you. And your acrylic paintings are part of like why we have the really awesome paint dripping bookmarks we have. But what I really love and point to all the time is your collages. Those printed collages that are literary inspired.
Yeah, it's a series that I started doing. I don't remember what like inspired me to do it, but I was like, I had this acrylic painting that I did, and I was like, I think I'm gonna like just draw a woman on this and add, because it's not really collage, it's more of a mixed media painting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I drew a woman on there, and I mean, I didn't draw. But I got her on there, and then I just started adding things to it, and I was like, I'm going to make her flower crown out of paper or whatever. And the whole thing is inspired by a book called, that one anyway is inspired by a book called, I think, Hollow Girls by Crystal Sutherland, I think. But I read it, and there was a line that just stuck out, and it describes a living plant growing out of a photograph of someone, and I was just like, this how can I like get the vibe of that, even if I don't get the like exact thing going on. And yeah, and then the other one is based on a story in think it's Her Body and Other Parties, maybe. And it's the story there is a fever dream that's basically told in the form of like a script of SVU. And it's from a dream that the Benson character had. She dreams of a woman whose eyes are hollow and has bells behind her eyes, or bells where her eyes are supposed to be. And the whole idea behind this series is that like I'm trying to take concepts that are body horror and make them into something beautiful, just to show that there's a spectrum. Basically, like, yeah, it's body horror, but also it's nice.
It was the energy that like I got this tattoo from Side Quest and Shenanigans that was inspired by one of Josh's lines, "Pull the flowers from your mouth."
Mhm.
And when I was like, I need this tattoo, and I was like, I don't know how to like communicate that line and the reaction that I had to it, because I don't want to just like tattoo the lines on
Yeah.
my body, because I'm very wary of like handwriting
Yeah,
tattoos.
and text never like ages well in tattoos, really. It's
Yeah.
very tricky.
I was like, and my body like blows out lines constantly, and I'm like, oh man, there's nothing I would hate more than to like desecrate Josh's words by
Yeah.
getting a bad tattoo. But I sent my tattooist your paintings.
Oh my gosh.
And was like, this is the energy I'm looking for, something that's like body horror but beautiful. And we landed on the sword swallowing woman, but instead of swallowing swords, she's swallowing cherry blossom stems. And like it came out so beautifully. It was like this really fun mishmash of like Josh and Jess's work and your work, and then combining
So much fun.
with Rue's art, and like
It's very, very cool.
it just
Yeah.
incredible.
I don't really know where the idea really originated. I mean, I've got those, and I've got so many more ideas. Like every time I come across a line while I'm reading, that I'm like, oh, that might make an interesting piece. I read on Kindle and I just highlight it, and I have a whole text document
Yes.
of like things that could potentially be ideas if I figure them out.
Oh man, the e-reader just like is a marvelous, magical piece of technology for collecting all of the quotes and stuff. When I write
gosh.
book reviews, I read them on my Kindle so that I can highlight the lines, because I quote the book in my reviews. And so I like, anytime I want to save one, I'm like, boom, here we go.
It's amazing. And yeah, being able to just look up a word if you don't know it or translate it, and I say Kindle, I do have a Kindle device. I've had this one for over a decade now, I think. But I did jailbreak my Kindle, so I'm free of Amazon's tethers.
So close to being brave enough to go for it. I watched a video of a guy jailbreaking his Kindle, and like he explains how to do it and all of that. And he's like, and it's legal, so you won't. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, like I was only like barely worried about that. But I was just like, what if I fuck this up? And he's like, you can't fuck this up. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, am I ready to take the plunge?
Yeah, the Kindle framework is still technically on my Kindle. It's like they're side loaded, essentially. So like I can switch between the jailbroken or the Amazon one. I just never do.
Yeah, and no, because like the device itself is such a fun and amazing feat of technology. And I sprung for a Scribe, and they're amazing devices. I love the e-ink. It's delightful. It just sucks being trapped in Amazon hell, and like, when I want to buy like ebooks from Bookshop and they're not DRM free, then I gotta go to the whole rigmarole.
Yeah.
And my big thing, I have a zine called How to De-Amazon Your Reading, and I'm like, I get it. I love my Kindle so much.
Yeah.
But it's bad for artists.
Yeah.
And it's the hardest thing watching
It is.
people like, oh God, somebody commented on, we're doing a poetry release the day before Dustbowl Dreams. And someone was like, I'll buy the book on Amazon. And I was like, or you can buy a copy here.
Please don't. And if you are, don't comment that on the bookshop.
It was, oh man, my tummy hurt.
Yeah, that's painful.
Oh, like, please, guys. So, you write poetry. I want to talk about you as a poet.
I do write some poetry, not a lot, and none of it has officially been published yet. But I work on I tinker with poetry.
I journal in poetry too. So with the exception of my little chapbook, most of my poetry stays in my eyes only.
I have one poem, and it's the one I read all the time. I'll read it at our open mic too. But I saw I mentioned my high school artist boyfriend before, and I've continued to talk with him on and off for the 25 years since high school. And, we're still friends. And he came up to visit one time, and we drove around our hometown, and we just talked. And we drove around for like 2.5 hours just talking. And for 3 days after he left, I just was chatting with him and spending time with myself and just deconstructing everything that had gone wrong and right in our relationship. And he didn't have a lot of memories of any of it. And I remembered everything. And while I was doing that, a single line just stuck in my head, and I was like, I'm gonna make a poem about this, and that's the title. And I did. And then Jess asked me to write an essay for her oh my gosh, what is the name of it? Her homemaking collection.
Between the Magic.
No, that's the parenting one. It's the other one. What We Call Home.
That's it.
I was like, I came up with the title and I can't even remember. But she asked me to write an essay for that. And I did. And as it got closer to publishing, she was like, everyone's going to read something. You don't have to read that because it's a really long essay and it's very traumatic. It's about my first marriage. And so I turned that into a poem also. I made a poem about the essay, and I read it once and I dissociated the entire time, and I'm never going to do it again. I'm never going to read it again. But writing that, I was like, if I did, both of these men live in Texas because my high school boyfriend moved to Texas.
All my exes live in Texas.
That's the title. I'm doing a collection.
Yes!
And and this is using the phrase ex very broadly. I'm also going to be contemplating ex friendships, ex jobs, ex apartments, and then and this is a big thanks to Dolly at SciAm for the idea. I think it's going to end up being the very last poem in the collection will be about Texas itself is the X.
There you go.
But yeah, that was Dolly's idea. And yeah, I've been working on that, but kind of slowly it's taken a backseat to binding zines because that's my life right now.
You gotta, all the art, so much time, so much art, so little time.
And I have a day job that I work 25 to 30 hours a week at too. And it's, oh my God, I wish I could work less, but capitalism.
Yeah. The trapped in that hell. You have a great note in the very beginning, in the very first scene about capitalism and capitalism versus
commerce.
Commerce and which was nice because as a business owner, sometimes I'm like, oh no, I'm a capitalist. And then I'm like, no, I'm participating in commerce and there's a difference and there's no ethical consumption in capitalism, but the space that we occupy in commerce is a unique space.
Yeah.
And then as artists, like, trying to survive in the United States, you know, we're doing our best.
In the United States, when everything is trying to suppress art, and will only get worse.
It's like in like bookstores, art stores, community spaces where they can create, like, must is such an incredibly important part of existing in Tulsa right now.
Oh my God, I love those. I love those guys. They're so great.
It's just
yeah, Jess and I were talking, I think just Saturday, just over the weekend, about how, like, the macro of the world sucks. Like, the world as a whole sucks, and there's not a lot we as individuals can do to really change that on a large scale. Like, yeah, we can protest, we can do, all the usual stuff, but, like, there's not a lot we can do. Like,
yeah,
people are still in charge that aren't us.
Yeah, we're not jumping on a flotilla anytime soon to deliver aid to Gaza.
Right.
It's not something we have the ability to do.
Right. Because, I mean, that, while it is noble, it also takes, time away from your home and your job. And in the US, we don't have worker protection, so you probably will come back and not have a job. But yeah, it's really challenging, and but we have to look at the micro level. We have to look at building community, being as there for our community members as we can be. If someone's sick, bring them some soup or juice or whatever. Like, just anything, any little thing helps. Jess and her husband do. I have started going, and I almost never miss. They do almost weekly board game days, and then they do monthly short story nights. And the short story nights are my favorite. Like, I love board games, but we all get in a room and someone reads a story, and it can be anything. It has to be published, and it can't be written by them.
Ooh.
So, like, we'll bring a collection and somebody will read whatever. I'm always reading terrible, horrible things that I have to stop reading when her child bucks in the room. I'm like, oh no, this will give him nightmares. I have to stop. But anyway, one person will read, and we take turns reading stories. And while they're reading, we're usually doing things that are offline, like everybody else. Like, there's almost always a puzzle on the table. And towards the end after they finished the puzzle, it was just yesterday that was our last one. After they finished the puzzle yesterday, Jess was working on some needlework, and I was binding books and listening to someone read, and it was great. And I think events like that and things like that are really going to be what saves our sanity, if nothing else.
They're so grounding. I went to a writer's party. It wasn't like, the intent there wasn't to be writing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of an open mic, but, like, just to spend time around other people who participate in that work. And it was over at Vondell Burns' place. They have, like, this hidden talents exhibit that was up. It closed yesterday or Saturday, and then it's going to be popping up at a few different other studios for a tour. But it's about, we had this opportunity to watch process videos for all of these artists who don't necessarily have, like, big backing. Like, we're probably not going to see them hanging out in an exhibit at Philbrook anytime soon.
Yeah.
But give them an opportunity to share their work and show their processes and talk about it. And, like, it's so grounding to get off my phone and just participate in a community. And I've been talking with my horde from Memory Cycle about all of this. And, like, I say from, like, it's his business.
It is just him. Yeah, no, he's great.
And he comes in the shop a lot about getting off the phone and participating, because we like to make art. And hard to do that when you don't have experiences, because
Mhm.
art is all about sharing emotional reactions to experiences. And if you're on your phone, you're not experiencing anything. You're watching other people experience things and document that. And like outside of like the FOMO that I feel when I'm scrolling Facebook because, oh, look at all these cool things my friends did that I wasn't there for, I'm like, oh, also, I just am missing out on experiencing things in general because here I am scrolling Facebook and it's 6:30 on a Friday and I could be not in my house doing something, or I could be in my house interacting with my kids or reading a book or needlepoint or, you know, a thousand
Any
other
number of things, yeah.
any number of things. And here I am watching other people live their lives. And I don't like that.
Yeah. It just, it's so important for community to just exist. I mean, there's always a community, but you have to find like your people, and if you haven't, then you know they're out there.
Yeah, go around, look at there's community boards, especially like all the local restaurants and stuff. Like, I think we bumped into our first zine in the wild, not at like a place you would expect zines.
Yeah.
At Lone Wolf.
Oh, nice.
We were like in line getting ready to order, and we looked at the windowsill and there was a pile of zines. And I was like, oh, this isn't where I would have expected to find a zine.
That's actually not at all surprising to me, because the owners of Lone Wolf, and then also Chicken and the Wolf and their new place, I went to high school with them.
Oh, that's
And I didn't know him very well, but he was in art class with my high school artist boyfriend.
oh, I love
So like
that.
I didn't know him very well. I knew his wife a lot more and her brother. But yeah,
Yeah,
I moved back and I was like, oh, they got married and they have really great restaurants. That's
we
cool.
have Katie Coffee, is a comedy friend of mine, and she did a show in the shop this weekend. And she works at some kind of like higher like restaurant group level in some capacity for them. I don't know, or the details, and don't really care. But just like the energy that she brings when she gets off work and comes and hangs out with us is very like, oh, these are people that are trying to like encourage community spaces. They're cool. I put posters up there all the time for like improv shows and
Yeah.
and stuff.
And I haven't caught back up with them since I moved. Since I moved back, they seem quite busy. I've not talked to them in 25 years. But like they were like fantastic, just cool little punk skater kids, man. And I love seeing them come up.
Yeah, they're doing great. Well, and they've got a great product. You could tell that it comes from people that have like a lot of care in their stuff. But all of that to say that like if you just like pause a moment when you're out and about, just get out and about.
Yeah.
First, step one, exit your house. And
Go.
step two, when you're out of your house, look, read the telephone poles. People are still putting flyers on telephone poles.
I love it.
And it's just look at those. Look at the telephone poles when you're waiting in line at the coffee shop. Look at the community board. Look at the walls. Look at the window when you're walking by it. Like there's stuff going on, and there's a community you can find. And you moved back, and how did you find your community?
Very interestingly. No, so my cousin she never really left. I mean, she grew up outside of Tulsa and went to college outside of Tulsa, but she's been here ever since, and she started off her adult life doing journalism, and she's since worked for when it was still around, Urban Tulsa Weekly. She did This Land. She did Tulsa Business Journal. I think she did Tulsa Kids. She was all over the place. And when she, and then her husband was previously the executive director, I think, of Kendall Whittier Main Street. So between the two of them, they know everyone.
Yeah.
And I had had kept up with her, and she kept talking about how cool Witty Books was. And so I moved back, and one of the first things I saw when I was just scrolling on Facebook, I had followed Witty Books based on her recommendations. And one of the first things I saw was they were doing a horror book club. And I was like, I read almost exclusively horror.
Perfect.
I'm going to go to that. And, through that I met Victoria and HV and a lot of other people. And when Horns and Rattles did their business launch party, they didn't have a book yet. Victoria had previously told me that I needed to meet Jess because I was talking board games with Victoria, and she was like, you should meet Jess. Her and her husband have so many board games, and they have regular board game nights. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And so I saw her at the launch for this, and I just walked up to her and I was like, you're Jess McCutcheon, right? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, Victoria said we need to hang out and play board games. And Jess points over at her husband and she goes, that's my husband and our friend. Our next board game day is tomorrow. Give them your number and we'll send you the address.
Perfect.
And so we got home and my husband and I were like, well, do we go to this board game? We don't know these people. And I was like, I think they're pretty well vetted. I think we can go. And so we went, and then that was that. Jess and I were instant besties, almost, basically, and it feels like I've known her my entire life. Yeah.
You guys have...
And then from Jess I've met everyone else. So, really.
Oh, but she's a real launch pad to meeting other people.
She's so outgoing.
So you guys have together No Maidens Art Collective. Tell me more about that.
So that is, we originally started, I have some physical disabilities, and setting up at a market is hard for me, but I had some success at markets selling my art. And Jess wanted to table and sell, she had some screen print and block printed clothing, upcycled clothing that she had gotten. She wanted to sell those and her books and just like whatever other art project that she ends up with like a lot of that doesn't really have a good home. And we did an event together under my previous business name, and she was able to help with the setup. I was able to help her learn how a market works and how to sell things and do all that side of it. And we did that for a while, and I feel like within 2 or 3 months of our first one, we were like, we should like make a thing. We should have a business. And I was like, well, what if we made a space for people who, don't have the ability to always be at markets or can't do it themselves. Or, maybe they only have like, I think we're out of them currently, but we had Samantha Ryan's book, and that was when she only had Pride out. We were like, well, what if we, maybe they only have one book or, one whatever that they have to sell, or a handful of prints, and it's not worth them getting a whole table for 5 prints. And so we were like, well, what if we did like an artist collective where, we can trade off the labor, like they can come help us out, and we can be there to sell their stuff if they can't make it. And it's still kind of in baby stages. We've got the first 6 months down, and then definitely took January and February off because they're extremely slow in sales anyway. It's not worth setting up at a market in those months for the most part. And we've changed a few contractual things, and we're still tweaking it, but we think the idea is solid. We're like, it's great. It's a way to, again, it's community. It's, inviting people in the community to come and like help help each other out, basically.
I love it so much. I'm pulling up my calendar here so I can make sure that I give the right date for the launch parties. Because I was about to say 11th, but the 11th is Saturday.
It's the 12th.
Yes.
It's a busy weekend for you.
It's gonna be, we've got I've got my nephew's birthday party on that Saturday. We're helping Kelly Morris launch her poetry collection, her newest one. She's got a couple on the shelves already, but her newest poetry collection's coming out. And then we'll cap off the weekend with Dustbowl Dreams and the launch of the first year, the limited edition handbound volumes. And we're doing a lot of cool stuff with that, right?
Yeah. In theory, I will also have the 5th issue of the zine ready then. We'll see if that is reality, but that's the goal. And yeah, it's going to be 4 to 7 is the time we set it on?
4 to 7.
4 to 7. So for the part where the store hours are open, we're going to have a table set up. People can come and make blackout poetry or collage. Jess will be leading that for the most part, just so that I'm free. But we're going to have those activities. People will be able to submit things that they make immediately. I don't know what that looks like yet, but we'll get there. And then, we're going to have snacks and drinks and sort of fun stuff. And then once the shop closes, Zhenya, who I mentioned earlier, will be facilitating an open mic for us. So I'm hoping to be able to get some contributors to come out and read things that they have included in the zine. And and then it'll also be just open to whoever wants to read something.
Yeah, I love it. It's been such a joy. Jared saw Dustbowl Dreams and was like, we need to carry this zine in there because Jared's big in his zines. So we need to carry Dustbowl Dreams, which led us to reach out. But then also you saw the call for artists. And so in addition to your mixed media prints and your gorgeous bookmarks, you have zine and collage kits, and then through No Maidens, blacked out poetry kits. So the shop is vibrant and like an interactive space so much because of you.
Aww.
And just like that has been such a wonderful surprise for me, which leads me into the question that I ask everybody at the end of this, which is being a part of Tulsa's literary and creative community. What has been the most interesting or surprising part of that for you?
Really, it's how many, just seeing that Tulsa has a literary community when I moved back. Because when I left, we had, we had just the corporate bookshops. We didn't have the corporate bookshops and Peace of Mind. I can't leave out Peace of Mind. But that was all we really had. And I remember, when I was a kid, always wishing that we had, bookstores like I would see on TV or something, the little cozy shops or the shops that have the weird stuff or, just whatever. And that didn't exist. And I moved back and it did. And I don't know what happened, but I'm really happy about it.
It's such a joy. Watching the city grow, and there have been pains, like losing Woody Books was devastating.
Oh my gosh.
Fulton Street closing, even Eleanor's that was in Mother Road Market, watching a children's bookstore close down was rough. But every time something pops up and it's clear the community wants it. And so
it's just finding the right iteration. Yeah. Really.
Finding the groove, but the community is so supportive of this opportunity. And I think that's the people, this is another conversation I had with Mike, was that the people are what makes Tulsa so special. Because if you strip the people away from it, it's just a normal, same old city.
Yeah.
But the community we have here is really something special. And I think if you took this group of people and put them anywhere, they would help each other thrive.
Yeah, it's real cool here. I did not like, honestly, I moved back to Tulsa thinking it would be a temporary stop for until we move somewhere else. Like, my family had a vacant house because my grandfather had passed away, and we needed to leave Austin. Like, I think my husband had lost his job, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think we can do the mortgage on just my paycheck." And it was a big conversation, but I was like, "Well, my family has this vacant house. Let's go land there for a while. We'll only have to pay like utilities. There won't be rent or anything. And then we'll figure out what we want to do." And while we were still in that house, I met Jess, I made friends, and I was like, "Well, what we're doing, I guess, is staying here."
You're like, "Uh-oh, I grew roots.
Oh no. Oh no, I tried to avoid Tulsa for so long, and now I'm just here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm so glad our paths have crossed.
Me too.
And you can catch the first year of Dustbowl Dreams. Come take a look. Grab yourself a limited edition copy on April 12th from 4 to 7 here in Meadow Market. You can follow Dustbowl Dreams on Instagram. It is reviving. As you can see the pictures and videos of the new bindings. And get your work ready and start submitting, because it's time to make more zines.
And if you have things, you can submit to dustbowldreams918@gmail.com. Just shoot me an email. I love submissions.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Tina. And thank you so much for listening to Paper Girl.